Okay, so Michael Yates from Alien Worlds says that he cannot stop anybody from building a VR metaverse on top of the virtual land plot on one of the planets. Okay, so like a virtual land NFT on the planet. A game studio could build out a VR metaverse, right, with the wearables for a troupe of artists that have kind of like a Rocky Horror Picture Show slash Price is Right slash homicidal maniac crackheads and whores with the sleazy band manager and fallen Atlantean warlords, right, that inhabited a milk bottle facility, bottling facility during an economic dirge, right? Well, basically in West Virginia, right? And it's real, like that's American nostalgia history, like so it can be like a voxel, so a sandbox type of RPG. You know, like I wouldn't recommend sandbox games for a lot of different types of games, right? They've already been successfully done. You have the shooters and everything like that that are, you know, I mean, unless you were really, but it has a lot of good functions in RPG. Mirandus, for one thing, is looking like it's gonna be sick to death, and it's made like kind of like a voxel type. It's slash voxel type because I have to wait to see what they're gonna do. I have to wait to see what that's gonna be. And people think, you know, that's a major undertaking and everything, but you have to remember, like, open source means that you're inviting people to take leadership position, right, to delegate to you, right? And all I want to do, right, basically is see that when it's come along, or if required, maybe they don't even need a piece of VR land, right? But I just think it's cool. Magor, you know what I mean? Like, where do they sound like they're from, really? What do you think? Like, it makes sense. Well, you would say I knew that if they told me I was from Magor, right? The Atlantean warlords, right? So, and it's a mountain, right? That's metal. That's metal. So, like, that's meddling right there. But okay, so, I mean, it's fucking sick if they put, if, like, let's say the alien fleet of the Abosom, right, tried to build the milk bottle factory on their NFT land, and fucking Sleazy P Martini went postal. Fucking, he's got his Uzis, right? He's got his Uzi, and you don't like to hear about stuff like that, right? So then, that's ill. People that are bored on Pixel Planet, right? That know a little bit of smart contract stuff, you know, or a little bit of like, who's gonna do, like, who could do different things, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's people that are really intelligent, and then all of it, you'll be surprised what they don't know. You know what I mean? You would think it would disqualify them or something, you know, but it's just a perspective, basically. So, like, I can't ask anybody, oh, where do you go to school? Because it's like everywhere. Like, you peep, you know, like, and it's deep, and they just want you to grasp or something. Like, it would be like, I'm trying to be dismissive because I'm like, where do you get your source? Your sources be like, man, I'm a sponge, and I'm not always right. Everything I say is not always right. So, maybe what I can offer is the Magor Mountain, right, in Alien Worlds. Don't try to set me up for malware, anybody, because my YouTube account is not the whatever. Yeah. And you would still need my private keys and you would still need to hack my two-factor authentication, and my email is not associated with so I don't log into Google. So, you know, it would really suck. Like, I would rather give it to somebody who's going to do something tight with it, and somebody like who can work out custody solutions for things that tend to go up in value, right? Too much, then it would be like you're just inviting somebody to rip it off, right? So like, I would rather give that's let you know I'm not crazy, right? I'd rather give, and right now that's kind of cheesy. I don't want to say what it's worth on the market unless it was a personal letter. But I mean, because then it's only worth what you sell it for. So if, I mean, there's like one whale who's buying all of them and shit like that, then how do you say what it's worth? You know what I mean? I was like, oh, maybe I should sell it for this much or something. And then you'll check and see what the highest price they paid, and it's always way above that. But then that whale goes away and nobody's buying. Fatigue. It's not an investment. The price of NFT, the coins, the platform's semi-fungible coin that has the ramp to the other more fungible assets is well, what am I just lost my train of thought. That's so stupid. Fuck. The blank out. Yeah, so like I'm trying to sell this or something, and the whale disappears, right? Okay, it's not an investment. Okay, because, right, it's a way to pull liquidity to your market. Basically, if you sell an investment, the price goes down. You're selling it down. The price doesn't go down depending on, you know, that's market share. But if you sell NFT, the price doesn't go, you know what I'm saying? Somebody still owns it. So it's just pulling it toward you, you know? And okay, so the price of the NFT coin could be an investment. It could be, if you know what you're doing, right? But basically, the NFT is allowing the non-fungible aspect of the utility to do something for you, like going to a concert or something. And so it could be somewhat like a drug. It depends, you know, on how well you'd speculate. And also, sometimes the visual appeal is like a drug too. Of some of the horrors, like those horror cards, like the way they put, that should look like visual dope. But for the decentralized autonomous organization, basically is to strike that accord, you know, like I wouldn't want to put money in something that wasn't autonomized and decentralized and a certain amount of security, unless there's striking a chord between that pyramid. Decentralization, scalability, and security. And that can only be done by a decentralized autonomous organization or corporations. And that could be you, right? So don't get scared off by thinking, oh, it's corporate or anything, because people start corporations. So the build out, okay, on top of the land, basically, that's where we need somebody who's like a dev or somebody who can do smart contract and write codes. Then the game studio, we could just rent. So somebody may rent it if I put up the NFT, right? The NFT, let's just say between 3 and 7, because based on Mirandus, like that shit, the land, the virtual land already like took off. Like it's like tenfold, right? I can't buy that no more, right? But I have an Alien Worlds thing, and it might be more interesting than trying to use it to set up passive income. Put it up against the paying for a studio, because they may be one that take our account. And we put up the virtual land, right? And salary for the game studio. They have what deadline or whatever. Smart contract means that if those goals are not fulfilled, then the funds goes back to the investor pool. So we could set it up like that. And then basically we want wearables, right? And we want to have them train somebody to be a dev, to work with the devs to be able to release, or to work with the artists. So we need a dev to work with the artists from the studio to train one of them, because you can't keep them on. You get, if you find, what's it called, the support for games, that means that you're going from what, beta to like fully deployed mobile app or something crazy like that, then you would need lots and lots of support. They call that support for that, to the dev support. And I don't even know that much about this stuff, right? I just put this together like a book report in the last couple weeks. Basically, it goes into the storyline like too well. Like there's, you know, an arch enemy. Like you have an arch enemy, then is the developers, the people that are big. The developers are the arch enemies, because we wanted to build out, like we're trying to like a tractor beam aliens, like okay, the Atlantean beings, right, the warlords, right, that are the band GWAR, right, they have let's see, say it, maybe hair metal bands like from space or some, I don't know, something, but like some like arch enemy, like something that they don't, that they would, because they kill somebody on every show, right? They rip like the skin off into eyeballs and everything, like squirting, and like it's all charmed, like the fans and everything. They'd make a mock dummy, whatever, and or like somebody inside of the thing, and they could lift it up, you know. But maybe they should kill whoever's trying to develop the milk bottle factory on their NFT land, on their NFT space, because and so some, they could be arguing on, you know, in the show about the decentralized autonomous organizations through a sort of like put a little spin on it, so that it's not, you're not talking about that directly, you know, but put it like a more like a Scooby-Doo dilapidated like economy dirge economic crisis kind of thing, like one of those like a you know, Dan Halen from Squidbillies type of people, and fucking kill him on the show, right? You could be, I mean, I don't want to put out there, you know, VR metaverse and saying, but that's later, you know, I mean, that's way later. The wearables, right, are just an NFT, right? But then, and the voting power, how do you do the interaction part, right? is maybe it would have to be a sandbox game. So that's okay. All right. Because really the virtual metaverses that are really developed with the VR and stuff, they have that too. Sandbox voxel type of game worlds, right, on the map, right, on the map of with all the virtual land on it, right. The sandbox game is the beta version of the application, and it has to be an application because it allows for the massive multiplayer online, right, for the RPG. So you'll be able to see an avatar instead of being there physically wearing like metal stuff, like metal associated with the band GWAR, or they could be a lot of other things. That's why, okay, the sandbox that we're talking about is different from just general sandbox editing, right? From a game studio, you could do it yourself. The sandbox from crypto, right? From NFT, who's doing that? A lot of different coins, Engine, Wax, Atari, Ethereum, EOS, those are all together, and you can find their coins in the game, playing the games, with your avatar, like be able to mine or do certain things, right? But they won't allow that. Crackheads, hookers, phallic symbols, like, they flash. They just have several themes saying the theme sometimes is like huge, disgusting phallus, like all kind of crazy shit. So they won't allow it, basically. Fighting and all this stuff, right? But you could be rewarded for fighting, staking your GWAR tokens for crack entrepreneurial endeavors, right? And it would just basically be managed by a decentralized autonomous organization that set the reward for mining or for staking. And there are also you can set up promotions, you can have meetings. Yeah, like you can you could stage or host events, have bands play and shit like that. It's nutty. Like you show up, like you can have your avatars going there. It'll be like Burning Man on a piece of virtual land. So I wanted to make a video because it would be weird if I didn't make a video about that. It's because I've been given the amount of time that I thought about it. I talked to Michael Yates on Telegram. Not talked to them. They respond with 1 or 2 sentence or something. And from Annual Observation, he's let me know that you need a gaming studio. Shay from Crypto Stash. I wanted to talk to Ken Bosic. Moment of silence for his name that I butchered. Then some people were too busy. They have too much on their plate. You're supposed to be happy for that. Like, what's the alternative, right? And then, somebody who would, well, I mean, you could be boring or something with so much information, right? But I could actually say that it will give you a reasonable to expectancy for what you're trying to accomplish, and you always know that it could fail, and a good kind of deployment strategy, like what type of moves to make and not to make. Be DCL blogger, Decentraland blogger, right? And maybe. But anyways, I don't think I really did a good job in this video. It could be more succinct.